let us all do we can to build a better future. With that being said, Daniel, you got a story for the people. What's going on, buddy?
Okay, so this was a bit of a positive story. It's one of those classic stories we have in America when they are positive, where it's good. It's not everything we want. It's better, a little better than we expected, but it is something, and it is good to see the scope of these programs grow and expand. And I have, of course, talking about California is in the process of that's just approved the biggest UBI in the U.S., which again is not saying all that much, but it is nonetheless that thing that we just said. So let's talk about it. Washington lawmakers on Thursday approved the first state-funded guaranteed income plan for the U.S., $35 million for monthly cash payments to qualifying pregnant people and young adults who recently left foster care with no restrictions on how they spend it. So it's not quite universal right off the bat, but there is a basic income component to it. But seems to be how these things work. First, they'll do like tiny little areas. We'll test it out, and then it will be private money, then private public money. And now we're hitting a spot where they're like, okay, pregnant women and people who have no parents get to try it now. So the votes, 36-0 in the Senate and 64-0 in the Assembly, show bipartisan support for an idea that is gaining momentum across the country. Dozens of local programs have sprung up in recent years, including some that have been privately funded, making it easier for elected officials to sell the public on the idea, which is kind of funny because if it's private money, it sells itself to some degree. But if you're looking for the stats on our foster youth, they are devastating. Senate Republican leader Scott Wilk said we should be doing all we can to lift up these young people up. It's maybe the most positive thing I've heard a Republican lawmaker say about a younger generation in a while, at least. Local governments and organizations will apply for the money and run their programs. The State Department of Social Services will decide who gets funding. So there's, again, it's like when they're calling it a UBI, it's just a BI. I mean, we're just getting right into it. California lawmakers left it up to local officials to determine the size of the monthly payments, which generally range from $500 to $1,000 in existing programs around the country. The vote came on the same day millions of parents began receiving their first monthly payments under a temporary expansion of the federal child tax credit, many view as a form of guaranteed income. So, it's not, everyone's talking, it's a UBI. It's very alarming. Not a UBI. This is very much not a UBI. This is a eligibility program of the people who are deemed eligible by the programs, and then the programs that okay their programs, they're getting access to the free use of $500 to $1,000 based on their local governments. So this is a government money program that you're free to use how you wish, and that's not quite UBI, but it is still the largest experiment of its kind in the U.S., and we did see the steps on how this went with legalization of cannabis, how it started with, okay, maybe we're people that are dying of cancer, maybe they should get the ability to try. Okay, well, how about people with really terrible other conditions, like really terrible? Okay, well, okay. Oh, well, how about people that have PTSD? How about we get to a certain mental? Let's get to that. And so we see this little gradual expansion, and it would be crazy if it's like we look back and you just imagine right now where we were before cannabis was ever legalized in any state, and it was just starting to be decriminalized, or the talks for it were getting more reasonable. How we all kind of felt, maybe we're in that same period, and in 5 or 10 years down the line, we're going to go, oh, yeah, back then is where it all started. I don't know. I kind of want to leave it up to you guys what you think about it, but I think this is positive.
I know that there's a short video from Case Study QB that we have. Let's try and pull that up
for a little bit as well.
So this will explain it just a little bit about why does, I guess, UBI or BI, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, let's hear from mainstream media what their take is.
Again, shout out to Case Study QB. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. Let's play this video.
California taking the first $35 million step towards state-funded guaranteed income. The first in the nation program lawmakers approved today will benefit pregnant individuals and young adults aged out of foster care. Payments will generally range from $500 to $1,000 a month, with no restrictions on how that money is spent. And if you have children, check your bank account.
Okay,
federal tax credits.
Okay, so she's luckily saying all the stuff that I said. So we don't have to see mainstream media. I think we're set.
All right, corporate media once again, I guess, spewing out things that we already know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you want to like just like, hey, I didn't understand that story.
Well, you know,
I need to watch mainstream news.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. You know, universal basic income. We've seen it work in other countries, especially in 2020. We've covered numerous stories. Countries in Canada.
We haven't really had it. Yeah. We haven't even had it. I mean, Canada had it.
Canada had it.
We had
other countries had.
Hey, are you these conditions? Then you get some money.
Well, let's see. We got one in March of 2020. Then we got another one in December. Then we got another one. I think again. When was the last time we got the other? I think April.
I was never eligible, so I don't know.
Yeah. So all we know is we got 3, and they were all under.
Well, all we know. I'm gonna separate myself from that discussion.
Well, I guess in theory, the media, the government was saying Americans in general, so we're supposed to get 3.
I'm not a general though.
You're not a general?
No.
Well, anyway, point is, some people got UBI. Well, not even. I wouldn't even call that stimulus. We just got some stimulus, or some people got stimulus. While the rest of Americans were left, on their own. And to be very clear, our government did abandon us, but other countries, other governments took care of their people. Case in point, Canada, where they did have a universal basic income program. Same thing like other countries that were part of the European Union. So the thing is, UBI is not a joke. And it's something that can help people, and it's not going to make people lazy. You know, I mean, I remember when you did that one story on Canada where they were going over, like, the people and how they were reacting to getting UBI, and what were they all saying? Our lives are less stressful. I don't have to worry about paying bills. I can start focusing on other things. And, you know, in this day and age where everything is going to become, automation, and everything's moving to online, and more Americans are losing their jobs, let's face it, we're going to need to have some kind of universal basic income that's going to keep up with inflation.
Yeah.
So whatever that's going to look like, it has to succeed. But, you know, here in Chicago, when that was brought up, our wonderful Mayor Lori Lightfoot, said no to it.
Yeah, again, it's like we're right at this. Potentially we're at a cusp point where California does it first. But I think that just to nip the thing that everyone always says, you can't give people free money. They'll just turn into a blob inexplicably with enough money per month to not get an apartment in most places in the country. It'll just stop them from working. Again, what a UBI really does when it's done correctly with a federal jobs guarantee is make it so that you don't have to take it from your boss at work. If you have a really terrible job, if you could quit at any time and always have some amount of cushion, that's something that they don't want. I think I saw someone said that it's like they are testing how much they can give to keep us quiet. Here are some scraps. Please don't unite against us. It's crazy if we get to a point then, if it's under those circumstances, where they put out a UBI because people are just starving. But we're in interesting times.
Well, you know, here's another example. You know, driving to the studio, it's great. There's a wonderful pride coming here, doing this work that we do here. But when driving here, again, underneath the viaducts, underneath the bridges, you're seeing more tents being put up. We're seeing more businesses being shut down. We're seeing more homes being foreclosed on. This is something that's happening in the city of Chicago. And this is not just a Chicago problem. This is a national problem. And it's becoming worse. And 30 to 40 million Americans are still at risk of being evicted from their homes, from their apartments. So, yeah, we need a universal basic income. And no, we should not be getting scraps. No, we should not be begging. We should be demanding for more. Hashtag a general strike, because it needs to happen. I'm tired of seeing people get hurt. I'm tired of seeing this excuse from these excuses from our politicians saying, "Oh, well, we wish we could do this, but oh, the Republican lawmakers are doing this, or these conservative Democrats are doing this, or oh no, the Senate parliamentarian, someone who's a non-elected official, is saying, oh no, we can't do that either." No more excuses. In the richest country in the world, if we could bail out the banks, the corporations, if we can fund endless wars, you're telling me we don't have the money to take care of our people? The richest country in the world.
Well, that's how we became the richest country in the world, by not taking care of our people.
Right.
It's all about, don't think of it as like, what's that metaphor? It's like we're putting manure. It's like, why would you ever spread manure over your entire field to have all the crops grow when you could just have a giant pile of manure that you can go, I have that giant pile of manure that's smothering the plants beneath it.
Yeah. And that's that's who our lawmakers are. That's their mindset. Because we have a bunch of politicians who are in their 80s and 90s, who are from a different generation, from a different time, have a different type of mentality, and are incapable of adapting to this ever-changing world. These are our lawmakers that are protected by the neoliberal establishment, who are against universal basic income, who are against Medicare for all, who are against student debt forgiveness. We don't owe them a damn thing. Hashtag general strike. No more excuses. And I'm very curious to see what kind of plans they're going to use or what kind of carrots they're going to wave in front of us during the 2022 midterm election cycle.
And again, we all need to stand together, group together, get more people to fight. We need to, we need to win by winning. We don't win by thinking that we'll yell at something long enough. We need to give politicians no choice but follow us or lose their seats, and that means we have to build up the power base to do that. So let's do it.